We are often captivated by rare discoveries in unexpected places, as well as archaeological excavations that unveil humanity's past. Over the years, the desert has always held countless unexplored mysteries, keeping us endlessly captivated. Like the enigmatic skulls, the eerie, ghostly footprints, or even the wondrous caves crafted by ancient hands. And not just the desert, archaeologists have uncovered countless mysteries all over the world. Join Mysterious Universe as we uncover these secrets in today's video. The mysterious ghostly footprints. Archaeologists recently discovered mysterious footprints imprinted in the sand near the Hill Air Force Base area. In the Great Strait Desert, USA, dating back at least 10,000 years. This area remains a vast wetland. The ancient carvings on the wall have captured the attention of the scientific community due to their remarkably unique feature. They only appear after the rain and gradually fade away as the ground dries under the sunlight. At first, the research team only found a few footprints. But after scanning the entire surrounding area with CPS ground-penetrating radar, the research team discovered at least 88 distinct footprints, including those of both adults and children. According to records, Great Strait Village was once home to a vast saltwater lake. Just like the lake of the same name, the largest lake in the Western Hemisphere. However, over time, the lake gradually dried up due to the climate change that Earth has faced in this era. During this time, the lake became the site of human battles. This is also the perfect time for them to leave their footprints on the surface. Archaeologist de Ronduc, the head of the research team, stated, "The ancients likely walked through many places here. On the frozen water and sand, their footprints were quickly buried. Like what we often see at beaches. However, the footprint did not completely vanish but instead left a thin layer of mud beneath. Beneath the layer of sand lies a bed of mud, preserving traces as clearly as ink pressed onto paper." Explaining why these ghostly footprints mysteriously appear only when it rains, de Ronduc observed that as the raindrops fall, the water quickly seeps deep into the underlying sediment layers. This returns the ground to its normal, natural color. And the footprints pressed into the dark mud will stand out clearly, sharply contrasting with the surrounding pale silt. By using radiocarbon dating, the researchers hope to analyze the tiny remnants of organic matter preserved in the sediment layers, thereby uncovering previously unknown characteristics of ancient people. Notably, this new discovery could also be an ancient diary from a bygone era. The ancient tomb dates back up to 78,000 years ago. In Pengarashati, a vast cave lies hidden within the coastal forest of Kenya, Africa. Archaeologists have just announced the discovery of an ancient tomb dating back approximately 78,000 years, believed to be the oldest ever found. This is the grave of a child about 3 years old. According to reporters in Africa, scientists have nicknamed the child in the grave Enkoto. This means the child is called in the Sawari language. Enkoto's mummy was wrapped in a shroud and placed in a fetal position. The researchers concluded that this posture represents a ritual burial ceremony developed within the Homo sapiens hunter-gatherer community. This ethnic group has lived here since 78,000 years ago. This is the oldest tomb ever discovered in Africa, where the first modern humans emerged. According to Mani Amicthino Torres, a researcher at the National Research Center on Human Evolution in Burgos, Spain, particularly, the placement of Enkoto in a sleeping child's position, wrapped in a shroud, suggests that ancient Africans sought to exist in a deeply symbolic world. Thus, they possess an awareness that researchers continually strive to uncover. Meanwhile, Edwin Barrow, a paleoanthropologist at the National Museum of Natural History in Paris, France, noted that the discovery of a child's body preserved so intact is extremely rare in Africa, where ancient human fossils are hardly ever found. A 7,000-year-old human skeleton unexpectedly discovered in the desert holds many unsolved mysteries. The archaeological site of Nahal Himar in the Judean Desert, southern Israel, has just revealed 3 more mysterious wooden artifacts. Those were 3 intact human skulls preserved in a layer of asphalt. According to archaeologists, Nahal Himar cave contains a total of 6 human skulls, but only 3 of them were coated with bitumen. The anthropological examination results indicate that these skulls date back to around 7000 BC. It is thanks to the Zudian Coke desert that organic materials are preserved better than in most other places in the world. All 6 skulls were preserved in good condition, particularly the 3 coated with bitumen. This layer also served as a protective shield against the ravages of time. The Israel Antiquities Authority describes how the human skull was wrapped in a layer of plastic. It seems a thin layer of asphalt has been coated on the back of these cartons. Afterward, the pre-prepared asphalt fibers are laid over the first layer, forming a mesh-like shape. Perhaps it's a hat for the departed. Scientists believe this was a ritual to honor the deceased, connected to ancestor worship traditions. Individuals with skulls coated in asphalt are often revered ancestors or particularly cherished relatives within the lineage. Perhaps these individuals have been worshipped for generations as sacred symbols of the entire land. The skulls can also be seen as symbols representing a clan's dominion over a particular land. Around 7000 BC, during the Neolithic period, rapid population growth led to extremely fierce competition for land. Fabe Bao Cave, the oldest known human dwelling. In the Wonder Weg area, a famous archaeological site located in the Kalahari Desert in southern Africa. Researchers from Iran and Canada have recently announced the discovery of evidence showing that prehistoric cave dwellers crafted stone tools nearly 2 million years ago. The research team analyzed a 2.5-meter thick sediment layer containing stone tools, animal fossils, and various other traces of prehistoric human life. Afterward, the researchers measured the magnetic signals of the analyzed sediment samples. The results showed that some samples were magnetized toward the south instead of the usual north direction. Following modern geomagnetic research, this discovery has contributed to dating the sedimentary layers while providing detailed information about them. According to archaeologists, this cave contains primitive stone tools dating back up to 1.8 million years. Archaeologists also discovered evidence proving that fire was used in the cave over 1 million years ago. Although prehistoric stone tools have been found in many other places across Africa, the discovery in Wonder Bay Cave is unique because the tools crafted inside the cave are entirely distinct from artifacts found at outdoor sites. Evidence of fire use in this cave is particularly significant because similar traces of ash have also been found outdoors. Perhaps this is the result of spontaneous forest fires. Iranian media reports that this is the most ancient cave ever used by humans as a dwelling place. Scientists consider this an important discovery, helping us better understand the evolutionary process of human body temperature across the African continent. According to scientists, accurately determining the age of this ancient settlement will aid future research on the lifestyle of primitive humans. The mysterious ancient tomb of the shaman Bao Nam, dating back 3,000 years. Near the city of Cajamarca in Peru, an incredibly strange ancient tomb was discovered. Inside the tomb lies a skeleton buried alongside many strange funerary objects, yet all of them reflect the extremely noble status of the owner. The tomb was discovered at the Pacholampa Archaeological Site, a place that holds many ancient graves. Since 2005, a large team of experts, including Peruvian and Japanese scientists, has been conducting excavations here. The recently excavated tomb is believed to possibly belong to a shaman or an important figure in the spiritual life of the ancient inhabitants of the region. Notably, alongside the sorcerer identified as living 3,000 years ago, 3 ceramic seals were also discovered. It can be used to print images on the body. The most prominent bear features the shape of a jaguar, a creature often kept as a pet by certain Central American communities, symbolizing the owner's status and power. The tomb also contained many decorative burial items, all of which were precious treasures of that time, reflecting the noble status of the tomb's owner. With profound significance and scientific value, those burial artifacts also remain a precious treasure in the modern era. Notably, the shaman's face was adorned with crimson incantation lines, further accentuating his noble status. Archaeologist Yuji Seiki from Japan's National Museum of Ethnology, who is also co-director of the Archaeological Authority in the region, said, "Chu Sa is believed to have originated from the Andean highlands and coastal regions. We believe that only the upper class could possess or use it through long-distance trade." The burial artifacts suggest that the person in the tomb had the ability to harness the power of jaguars, snakes, and birds. Perhaps he was a physician, so many sought him out to unravel life's perplexing questions. The seals found in the tomb are likely symbols of power. Archaeologists have not yet been able to date the artifacts excavated from the ancient tomb using the radiocarbon isotope method. However, the figure of 3,000 years was proposed based on the style of the artifacts, consistent with other contemporaneous artifacts discovered in the complex. Recently, archaeologists in Georgia announced the discovery of a 1.8 million-year-old tooth in the Urozmani region. The country's capital, Tbilisi, is located about 100 kilometers to the southwest. According to experts, this tooth belongs to the first human species to have lived here, making this one of the earliest prehistoric human settlements in Europe. At Dimenezi, traces considered the oldest human remains outside Africa have been discovered. This helps scientists gain a deeper understanding, and even reshape their perception of early human evolution as well as migration patterns. Meanwhile, the latest discovery in Urozmani village has provided further evidence that the southern mountainous area of Kaukashat may be one of the first settlements of ancient humans after leaving Africa. Mr. Zoxy Bizanidvri, the head of the archaeology team, believes this tooth belonged to a relative of Zepha and Emdia. This name refers to two 1.8 million-year-old human skull fossils, found nearly intact in Dimenezi. Meanwhile, Mr. Jack Beard, another member of the survey team, emphasized that this discovery further confirms that Khoruja is an extremely significant site in paleontological research and the study of ancient humans. The oldest Homo fossil ever discovered dates back 2.8 million years ago. That is a jawbone fragment found in what is now the territory of Ethiopia. Therefore, scientists believe that ancient humans left Africa approximately 2.8 million years ago. A chilly morning in Alaska, a scientist named Philip took a walk to relax. When he happened to pass by the scene of a fatal accident, he discovered a plane that had been reduced to a pile of wreckage. The discovery of an aircraft wreck left scientists utterly astonished, to the point where they couldn't believe their eyes. It was strange that he took the time to thoroughly inspect the aircraft wreckage, and what he discovered convinced him that countless mysteries still lay hidden within. But he didn't dare to seek out those mysteries alone, fearing the dangers he might face. Therefore, Philip asked his colleague for assistance. Just a minute and a half later, his reliable colleague appeared, and together they inspected the pile of rubble. The deeper they went into the investigation, the more shocked they were by what they found inside the aircraft wreckage. In the end, the only thing they could announce to the public was the discovery of the missing plane after decades of disappearance. The scientists were utterly astonished by what they found hidden inside, but what exactly was it? To this day, they still haven't been able to reach any official conclusion about it. This stunning Bell P-39 aircraft has been lying at the bottom of Lake Makaver in Russia's Arctic region since the summer of 2004. The one who discovered it was a fisherman, when he glimpsed the faint, ethereal outline of the coral reef emerging through the crystal clear water. P-39 lies at the bottom of a shallow lake, about 5 meters deep, completely covered and buried in fine silt up to the top of the propeller. Taking advantage of the good weather, the rescue team used airbags, tripod floats, and truck mats to safely bring the P-39 to shore. However, the concerning thing when P-39 appeared was that both cockpit doors remained tightly shut. Typically, in the event of an emergency water landing, one or both floats will be deployed to assist passengers in evacuating quickly. Completely different, the pilot still couldn't. After 60 years of being kept secret, on October 6, 2004, the pilot was solemnly buried with full military honors. The Glory Valley Memorial is located near the Bai-Exa Valley, in the misty northwest region. P-39 has been significantly improved, with only a small portion missing within the network. As usual with aluminum-made components, the wheel axle and engine cam cover have deteriorated and worn away over time. Another notable point is that the 0.5-inch machine gun on the wing has been removed. This in itself isn't strange, but it happened in the ammunition tray area. The research team found 6 cans of American-made stewed meat along with some reserve bullets. The food cans contain cooked pork, pork fat, and flavorful onions, rich and delicious taste. The aircraft is equipped with primary armament on the fuselage, including a Cott Browning M4 37mm cannon capable of firing through a rotating barrel, with 30 rounds of ammunition. Two 0.5-inch caliber machine guns were mounted above the cannon barrel and fired through the propeller area. Each gun has 200 rounds left, but the most notable discovery was the unusually heavy document case at the door. The team found the maintenance logbook of the P-39, though some pages were missing. But most of it is still readable, with nearly all the flight times and dates for Russia remaining clearly visible. The service and pilot names are sourced exclusively from this proprietary document. The wreckage of the B-29 aircraft is scattered around Tiger Water Lake. Recently, the wreckage of the P-29 bomber aircraft has been discovered. The largest American bomber from World War II lay at the bottom of a lake for decades. Here are the translations for both versions. However, recent decrypted documents reveal that the P-29 aircraft did not crash into the lake due to an accident. In winter, when the lake freezes over, people can get close to the plane's cockpit and take selfies. The aircraft's body is adorned with numerous logos, according to decoded documents. This bomber is commonly used by the Meteorological Reconnaissance Unit of the U.S. Air Force. That was originally the Meteorological Flying Version VKB-29 of the P-29 bomber series. Only a portion of the P-29 bomber was overturned on the water's surface. However, based on the aircraft serial number 4,462,214, it was determined to have crashed in 1956. Later, this place was no longer used as a training center. Therefore, it was abandoned in this place. Because the water wasn't deep, only part of the plane flipped up above the surface. Therefore, this place has become an attractive destination for adventurous travelers. In spring and summer, the surrounding forest and the reflective lake surface create an incredibly magical backdrop for the airplane. Notably, in recent years, several items from the aircraft along with a few guns have been recovered. However, there are currently no plans to salvage the entire aircraft. The plane has landed in Samarkand. The Beehive 3D aircraft, named Lady Beagard, belonging to the U.S. Army Air Forces, went missing during an airstrike in Italy on April 4, 1943. This is the first flight for both the aircraft and the crew. Lady Beagard was also the only ship in the fleet that could not return to the base in Libya. At that time, authorities concluded that the plane had crashed into the Mediterranean Sea. However, an investigation was conducted but no traces of the ship Lady Beagard were found. In 1958, an oil exploration team took aerial photographs and discovered this aircraft in the Libyan desert. S fuselage remained well preserved due to Samarkand. Surprisingly, the radio and other equipment on the plane were still functioning normally. But the search team found no trace of the crew. In 1959, the local authorities organized another month-long search for the crew, but still found nothing, ultimately forcing them to call it off. By 1960, 17 years after the plane's disappearance, the remains of 8 out of the 9 crew members had been discovered scattered near the Samarkand area. The authorities also found a diary belonging to Robert Schoner's daughter, which recorded details of the events following the plane crash. In the accident, 9 people jumped from the plane, and fortunately, 8 of them survived. The survivors walked about 136 kilometers before 5 people gave up, leaving only 3 who persevered until exhaustion. However, the body of the Von Ani Homo machine gun operator has never been found to this day. After 32 years missing, the Piper Cherokee plane has finally been found. On July 19, 1962, a 1959 Piper Cherokee aircraft was tasked with bringing 4 young men home after an operation in Fresno, California, but never reached its final destination of Sacramento. The aircraft wreckage is believed to have crashed in the Yosemite National Forest area and has remained undisturbed there for the past 32 years. By 1994, a park ranger accidentally discovered the wreckage of the plane in a remote area of the national forest. Here is the English translation of your text. Based on the collected information and personal belongings, the authorities have confirmed that this is the plane carrying the 4 victims from many years ago. The location where the plane was discovered was so remote that they had to use pack mules to transport the wreckage from the scene. The aircraft with the identification number 232 had lain motionless on the mountainside for 26 years. On August 15, 1976, Flight 232 operated by Victor Vykov 785D departed from Quito, Ecuador, bound for the city of Cuenca. But en route, air traffic control suddenly lost contact with the aircraft. After numerous searches, no trace of the aircraft with its 55 passengers and 4 crew members has been found. Many suspect that the plane may have crashed on the Chimborazo volcano or been shot down by Colombian fighter jets. 26 years later, in 2002, the wreckage of this plane was finally discovered. Those items were scattered hundreds of meters along the hillside of Chimborazo. Many believe it was the melting mountain ice that exposed these fragments, allowing them to be discovered after so many years. The plane had lain deep at the bottom of the lake for a full 64 years. On May 28, 1945, a U.S. Navy Helldiver aircraft, bearing the serial number SB2C4, crashed into the lower Otay Reservoir near the San Diego area. At that moment, pilot Fraser and gunner Joseph Metz were on a mission when suddenly the aircraft's engine malfunctioned, causing both them and the plane to crash. The two tried to swim to shore, but the Howl driver had already sunk to the bottom of the lake. In 2009, after 64 years of mysterious disappearance, Dwayne Johnson and Chris Houcher accidentally discovered the plane wreckage while fishing in this area. Shortly afterward, authorities dispatched a rescue team to recover the aircraft after decades of being buried beneath layers of mud and soil. The ancient city is 3,400 years old. A 3,400-year-old ancient city that had mysteriously vanished has just been discovered in Luxor, Egypt. This is considered the most significant archaeological find since the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun was uncovered. The renowned Egyptologist Zahi Hawass and his research team began excavating the funeral temple in September 2020. After just a few weeks, they discovered scattered mud brick structures everywhere and eventually uncovered an entire intact ancient city. The ancient citadel consists of 3 main districts. In an area designated for storing written records, archaeologists have uncovered a large section used as a logistical storage facility, which included clothing items. The gemstone slab was used to craft necklaces and bracelets. Notably, the pottery here has revealed the connection between Egypt and the New Kingdom of Egypt. According to historical records, the temple of Queen Khum, wife of King Amenhotep, the 9th pharaoh of the 18th dynasty of ancient Egypt, was built in this city. Moreover, this place also served as the administrative and industrial hub of the empire. The house is nearly complete, with fully constructed walls and rooms, along with all the necessary daily living essentials. Along with a ring, scarab-shaped jewelry, and colorful pottery, they provided a vivid glimpse into the daily life of ancient Egyptians. The world's oldest cemetery is located in Africa. In South Africa, scientists have just discovered an ancient burial site identified as the oldest in the world. The surprising thing is that this place holds the remains of an ancient human species with a small stature, who were often thought to be incapable of complex behaviors. An ancient group of people called Homo naledi performed burial rituals for the deceased and carved symbols on the walls of graves. Scientists conclude that this is the earliest recorded evidence of a burial ritual. Funerary practices emerged at least 100,000 years after modern humans, Homo sapiens, appeared, proving this to be a cultural ritual that developed later than the existence of wise humans. Homo naledi had a small brain, only about 1/3 the size of modern humans, and was renowned for its adept climbing abilities. The bones of this human species were found in an underground cave system, located about 30 meters deep beneath the surface in their habitat area. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, located about 40 kilometers northwest of Johannesburg. These specimens were determined to date back between 335,000 and 241,000 years ago, making them the oldest graves ever discovered. In 2015, a research team led by American paleontologist Liebküger discovered the species Homo naledi *, and raises the question of whether this human species practiced intentional burial. Based on the position and integrity of the frost fragments deep within the cave system, they expressed skepticism about the findings and proposed alternative hypotheses, such as water sedimentation or the influence of modern humans. However, the research team's subsequent findings in 2017 further reinforced the evidence supporting the hypothesis of intentional burial. These findings include shallow pits containing bone fragments, likely dug by Homo naledi, and the materials used to fill the inside of the pits, along with the shapes and carved patterns on the surface. Engraved on the bronze wall near the central area, hinting at a cognitive leap in humanity's evolutionary process. According to researchers, this discovery casts doubt on the long-held belief that such behaviors are found only in Neanderthal people and modern Homo sapiens. At the same time, this also raises many questions about the relationship between Homo naledi and modern humans. Ancient 3,000-year-old war chariot. In 2011, archaeologists discovered traces of a horse-drawn chariot in an ancient tomb from China's Zhou dynasty, dating back approximately 3,000 years. Wooden carriages along with horses have been discovered in Hong Village, Henan Province, China. This passage dates back to around the year 770 and was found in an excavation pit along with numerous porcelain artifacts and other metal objects. The preserved pits and intact relics stand as evidence of the bronze and ceramic culture from the pre-Western Zhou period. This is considered the most intact inscribed tombstone ever discovered in China to date. Essentially, these skeletons belong to horses that were killed before burial, not buried alive. The archaeologists concluded that this tomb might belong to a renowned general of this dynasty. The ceramic wares, metal tools, and inscriptions on the tombstone were all befitting of a lieutenant general. Alongside the bronze artifacts, the tomb is also a fascinating discovery for historians, because it provides clear evidence of burial customs from the pre-Western Zhou period. This is a vertically buried tomb, a very common custom during that period. This land once had unique natural conditions and burial customs using wooden coffins, causing the remains inside to have long since completely decomposed. However, the most significant discovery to date remains the collection of chariots and horses of various types and sizes, preserved intact. Archaeologists have just discovered a small living room in a Roman villa near the city of Pompeii. The slaves used it, thereby clarifying their position in the world of Dod. Archaeologists discovered this room in the Civita Juliana villa, about 600 meters north of the walls of Pompeii, a city destroyed by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius nearly 2,000 years ago. This room has 2 beds, but only one is made. There are also 2 small cabinets, a ceramic vase along with other pottery containers, and even some mouse bones. These details once again reveal the wretched and unsanitary living conditions endured by the lower class of society at that time. Materials such as furniture and fabrics, which were covered by fragments of rock and ash from Mount Vesuvius, gradually decomposed over time. Additionally, archaeologists also clearly identified the outline of a crumpled blanket left on the bed netting, resembling an image imprinted upon it. However, this is a photo taken nearly 2,000 years ago. Additionally, no traces of island nets, locks, or chains were found to restrict the movement of the person living in the room. According to Mr. TBL Sachiko, director of the Pompeii Archaeological Park, it appears that control is primarily exercised through an internal mechanism of subjugation, rather than relying on physical barriers and restrictions. Italian archaeologists have discovered a painting that is thousands of years old. Pizza is one of the world's most popular dishes, and this is clearly reflected by its presence in global cuisine. The 2,000-year-old artwork was discovered inside a house near a bakery during recent excavations in the center of Pompeii. One of the dishes appearing in the painting seems to be the one mentioned by Gabriel Sachiko, director of the Pompeii Archaeological Park. This description likely refers to the layer of rich, melted cheese steaming hot on the pizza's surface. However, it's worth noting that this painting depicts a dish that looks remarkably similar to pizza. I like tomatoes and mozzarella cheese, ingredients that often appear in famous Italian dishes. Instead, archaeologists believe this dish is actually focaccia bread, a type of bread often topped with various fillings and then baked until crispy. This special dish is evenly coated with various spices and thoroughly grilled, similar to how pesto is spread on top. The painting also features a wine glass and some fresh fruits. This reflects the harmony between a simple, modest meal and the elegance of silver trays. This discovery could prove that the ancestors of the Sarsauer people 2,000 years ago possessed diverse and refined culinary talents. An ancient Maya city, previously unknown, has just been discovered deep in the forests of southern Mexico. It is highly likely that this place was once one of the most important centers of the Maya civilization over 1,000 years ago. This ancient Maya city features massive architectural structures, including large pyramids, numerous stone columns, and 3 vast plazas surrounded by majestic buildings. And other structures are arranged in nearly concentric circles. Stone column. The Mayan civilization's temple is renowned for its advanced mathematical system, once existing in southeastern Mexico and parts of Central America. The widespread political collapse led to the decline of this civilization over many centuries. Before the Spanish arrived and launched their military campaigns, Mexico's last stronghold had fallen by the end of the 17th century. Leading archaeologist Ivan Brack stated that the core area of the Ocaden site is situated on elevated land, surrounded by vast waterlogged marshes. Some structures are pyramid-shaped, reaching up to 15 meters in height. The city also boasts an ancient ball court, where the Maya once played ball-related games. A popular game across this region involved passing the rubber ball, symbolizing the sun, across the court. Without using hands, simply pass it through a small stone hoop. This game holds significant religious meaning. Additionally, they discovered central altars near the Rajinia River, likely built to serve communal rituals. Although further research is needed to fully understand the ancient cultures that once existed here. Osperic also shared that this site likely declined around 800 to 500 BC, based on materials excavated from the buildings. At the same time, the study also suggests that this may reflect shifts in ideology and population structure, leading to the decline of Maya societies in the region by the 10th century. When it comes to Chinese archaeology, if one must speak of the most magnificent and extravagant tomb, there truly is no comparison. Many ancient tombs have been excavated, carrying with them countless valuable burial artifacts. For example, the ancient tomb in the Mwangui area or the tomb of Marquis Haihun. These ancient tombs were discovered and excavated, yielding an astonishing number of burial artifacts. However, if considering the tomb with the heaviest outer coffin, the correct answer would likely be the coffin excavated from the tomb of Marquis Yi of Zheng in Soizhou, Hubei. The discovery of Marquis Yi of Zheng's tomb sent shockwaves throughout China. Its tomb is many times larger in scale than the Mwangui Han Dynasty tomb in Changsha. On an excavated area of 220 square meters, archaeologists have uncovered countless valuable national treasures. For example, the Tang Howitt bell, with its jade pendant intricately carved with a dragon motif featuring 16 exquisite details, or the majestic bronze bell pellet standing tall and imposing. Of course, these are all national treasures that have captured the special attention of the archaeological community. Alongside the precious artifacts, the massive coffin in the tomb of Marquis Yi of Zheng also left experts utterly astonished. In the tomb, they discovered an enormous coffin. The survey team had just finished taking measurements when they were stunned to discover the object weighed up to 9 tons, a figure so staggering they couldn't believe their eyes. This is a shocking figure, and this coffin is also considered the heaviest ever discovered in ancient tombs worldwide. At that time, with scientific conditions still very limited, countless questions were raised. How did the ancients transport such heavy coffins? It was truly an incredibly arduous task. Even in modern times, archaeologists still had to mobilize a series of cranes just to move it out. During the excavation, an 8-ton crane was used to lift the coffin. But the coffin remained still, while the crane's hook was jerked upward. The coffin weighs up to 9 tons, with the lid alone weighing 2 tons, a truly astonishing figure. Notably, one side of the coffin has a small door, believed to be the passageway for the soul of Zheng Huyi. The owner of the tomb of Tang Howitt is the king of the Zheng state, also known as the state of Kai. As a vassal state of the Chu dynasty during the spring and autumn and warring states periods. According to historical records, Zheng was merely a small and insignificant state bordering the powerful Chu kingdom. Because he feared the king might kill him at any moment. Every year, Marquis Howitt would come to pay tribute, bringing a great amount of gold, silver, jewels, and many beautiful women to offer to the king of Chu. However, after Tang Howitt passed away from illness, his descendants no longer had any valuable items to offer to the state. Therefore, the king ruthlessly eliminated Zheng Guo. Moreover, archaeologists and historians have proven that Marquis Yi of Zheng was in fact an utterly cowardly individual. All cultural artifacts excavated from the tomb of Marquis Yi of Zheng bear his personal imprint. Yet, many things bear the marks of alteration. For example, on Zheng Huyi's bronze plate, researchers discovered the name of his ancestor. However, he altered it and carved his own name onto it. This act was truly considered a grave offense against filial piety in ancient times. The experts were even more heartbroken to discover, in addition to the 9-ton coffin, 22 other coffins in the tomb of Marquis Yi of Zheng. Among them, there were 21 coffins containing the bodies of young girls, the oldest being only 26 years old and the youngest around 13. The tallest girl is about 1.6 meters, while the shortest is just a little over 1.4 meters. Additionally, inside a coffin were the remains of a dog, likely a beloved pet of Marquis Yi of Zheng. Were these 21 girls truly buried alive with Marquis Yi of Zheng, or did they die from other causes? Experts believe that they were most likely buried alive alongside Zheng Huyi. This has sparked outrage among scholars over the brutal ancient practice of human sacrifice. This was also a persistent backward custom that endured well into the Qing dynasty. The 800 million year marvel lies within a marble sarcophagus. Russian scientists have confirmed that the woman's body found in the strange coffin in the Kemmer River area of Russia dates back at least 800 million years. This discovery could completely change our understanding of human history. The story begins in September 1969 in the village of Zachik, located in the Tyskago region along Russia's Kemmer River. While working in the mine shaft more than 70 meters deep, the miner in Kakhovka accidentally discovered a marble coffin, its exterior intricately carved with exquisite patterns. Immediately, the coffin was lifted from the ground and its lid opened. However, the coffin had fossilized and become as hard as stone, making the excavation process quite difficult. Inside the coffin, filled with a bluish-pink liquid, lay the body of a young woman with an eerily extraordinary beauty. This person looks about 30 years old, with large, round blue eyes, a distinctive feature of Europeans. Her hair was slightly wavy, her hands soft and pale with neatly trimmed nails. She wore a long, flowing white dress with short sleeves delicately embroidered with flowers. Her husband lay still as if asleep, so much so that anyone who saw him couldn't help but be stunned. Later, people often called her Princess Tisunki. After about 10 to 15 hours, the coffin was opened for the villagers to behold. Everyone rushed to see the strange object with their own eyes. However, within the past 24 hours, local authorities have received reports of the incident being uncovered. All forces, including the fire brigade, military, and militia, have confirmed the information about the incident. At 2 p.m. that afternoon, a helicopter arrived to transport the coffin. The area where the infection was detected has been declared at risk of spreading, forcing residents to disperse. Afterward, the authorities sealed off the area and quarantined everyone who had touched the coffin, including those standing nearby. This story was told by the villagers, but very few people believed it. However, as you delve deeper, many strange details gradually come to light. The coffin was loaded onto the helicopter, but because it was too heavy, they decided to remove the remains inside to reduce the weight. When the liquid was completely pumped out of the coffin, the body suddenly turned a deep black before everyone's eyes. Thus, the liquid was poured back in, and the black color instantly vanished. After a minute, the woman's cheeks gradually regained their rosy hue, her face looking as fresh as if she were still alive. 5 days later, an elderly professor from the North Sea Bridge arrived to report the preliminary findings from the research team's laboratory. The professor remarked that this discovery could profoundly alter existing understandings of human history. When Soviet scientists announce their discovery, the scientific community will be shocked. According to the professor, this coffin dates back at least 800 million years, making the woman inside even more ancient than the surrounding coal layers that formed around it. This completely refutes Darwin's theory of evolution. To defend the theory of evolution, some argue that she is a planetary skeptic. Genetic analysis shows that this woman's body carries a genome entirely identical to that of modern humans. Scientists confirm that the human body today still retains many traits similar to our ancestors from 800 million years ago. No evolution here, especially since the fabric sheet. Scientists have yet to precisely determine the composition of this pinkish-blue liquid, although some of its compounds share properties similar to onions and garlic. The metal box has not yet been evaluated by the professors and is still under study. However, the scientific advancement of the civilization during this woman's lifetime may have far surpassed ours today. Evolution is the gradual process of change in living organisms over time. Dak Nguyen once asserted that all living organisms on Earth evolved from a common ancestor. If Dak Nguyen's theory is correct, we should be able to discover intermediate fossils in the evolutionary process. When a species diverges into two or more distinct species, we can observe the newly formed species in nature. But in reality, none of those things ever happened, and the story of the Tizhelskaya princess conveys to us a message that humanity has existed far longer than what is recorded in textbooks. The history of human existence still holds countless unsolved mysteries. The Red Coffin in China. In 2003, a team of archaeologists excavated an ancient tomb on Chuqi Mountain in the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region of China. Countless mysteries unfold before our eyes the moment we awaken to them. Unlike the traditional black color in the funeral customs of the people in the Central Delta, this coffin has a strange red color and comes with no epitaph. Noticing something strange, the archaeologists carefully focused their observation and discovered more traces alongside the mysterious red marks. The coffin was exquisitely carved with intricate ornamental patterns. The ancient tomb was initially identified as belonging to the Khitan people, with the assessment that the red coffins contained the remains of a woman. The woman in the coffin had her face completely covered, and her attire was entirely distinct from the traditional clothing of women in the central lowlands. Additionally, the body was dressed in up to 11 layers of clothing, but they had decayed to the point of being unrecognizable. When they reached the innermost chamber of the tomb, the archaeologists were utterly astonished to discover a shimmering black pool, gleaming like mercury, surrounding it. With its protective function, it helps keep the body intact. After compiling the mysterious findings in the tomb and cross-referencing them with historical records of the region, scientists have identified the tomb's owner as Princess Yu Ludoji Yu, the younger sister of Liao Tezu, the founding monarch of the Liao dynasty. In 913 BC, to firmly grasp political power in hand, Emperor Tezu of Liao planned to abolish the traditional rotational succession system in order to establish a long-term hereditary succession, similar to the dynasties of the Central Plains region. This move faced fierce opposition from many tribes, sparking rebellions across the kingdom. Du Lu Du Company was swept into the rebellion, opposed her brother's decision, then was imprisoned and died in the dark dungeon. Suspecting that Lu Taita might be a traitor, they only built a simple tomb to bury him. Her behavior is nothing like the demeanor of a princess. Most of the ancient tombs excavated so far belong to the Han people. The discovery of additional graves of ethnic minority people like these holds immense significance. With a profound influence on the cultures of ethnic minorities in particular and Chinese culture as a whole. Here are the natural English translations for your options. The stone tombs stretch along both mountain slopes in the western area of Khao Khosert, covering an expanse of 12,000 square kilometers between the territories of Russia and Archaeology. They are the embodiment of unique ancient architecture, with stone blocks stacked together with astonishing precision. One of the most fascinating ancient stone clusters is the three groups of dolmens arranged in vertical rows atop a hill in the Kraknoza region, near the Russian town of Goranzik. The Khao Khosert stone tombs feature a rectangular architecture, with a round hole carved into the front face serving as the entrance. In front of the tomb lies a spacious courtyard, convenient for holding ceremonies. The decorative patterns on the tomb are not overly intricate, primarily consisting of zigzag lines, triangles, and concentric circles. According to observations, many graves are severely damaged and destroyed due to lack of protection. In the Khao Ko area, scientists also discovered numerous pottery artifacts dating back to the Bronze and Iron Ages. Alongside these were two human skeletons, bronze tools, as well as ornaments made of gold, silver, and precious stones. All are estimated to be around 25,000 years old. The passage shows that since ancient times, humans have been incredibly intelligent in creating such remarkable inventions. The Solovetsky Islands are a small archipelago located in the Onega Bay, within the White Sea region of Russia. This remote and isolated land unexpectedly holds countless Khao Ko relics, dating back thousands of years and still full of mysteries. Calling Sorovetsky the land of labyrinths is absolutely spot on. This place impresses with its 35 labyrinthine stone structures dating back over 5,000 years. The locals call them the Babylonians. Among the discovered labyrinths, the most notable are the architectural structures on Bolshoi's Zyatsky Island. The island has 14 mazes neatly nestled within an area of just about 0.4 square kilometers. They are very well preserved and have long been a familiar research site for archaeologists. Yet to this day, all information about these magnificent ancient structures still seems to amount to a perfect zero. No one can determine which force is powerful enough, while also pouring all their heart and intellect into creating these strange, enigmatic structures. From the very dawn of human history on Earth, the reason for their existence has been intertwined with their origins. Across the island, people also encounter countless unnatural-looking piles of crumbling rocks, even with fragments of mist mixed within them. Additionally, several other stone structures were discovered in this area. It includes a fairly complete solar simulation model with rays of light radiating outward. Researchers assert that the existence of ancient meching structures is often closely tied to spiritual beliefs. This is likely a symbol of the gateway connecting the mortal world with the realm of the dead, where the souls of the departed reside. On the island, the mekungs are formed by stone walls built into fixed channels on the ground. These rocks were all mined from local quarries. This is the Mekong Range with a spiral structure, formed by interconnected concentric rings. The smallest one has a diameter of about 6 meters, while the largest one reaches up to 25.4 meters. Some mazes are even designed with 2 intertwined spiral paths. The image resembles 2 coiled snakes, their heads meeting at the very center. The entrances to these Mekong structures are primarily located in the south, although there are up to 5 different structural variations. But all have only one entrance, which is also the sole exit. Numerous hypotheses have been proposed to explain why the Stone Age inhabitants of the Swarovski Islands chose to settle there. I poured all my heart and effort into building the Mekong projects. According to the hypothesis proposed by Verena in the 1970s, which gained widespread support, mekungs were primarily created to serve as fish traps. However, its true nature remains a mystery to this day. The stone church holds an air of mystery. The town of Laribura is situated on the Ethiopian highlands, at an elevation of approximately 2,500 meters above sea level. The town is surrounded by barren rocky mountains. King Laribura, who reigned from 1187 to 1221, was a passionate ruler with the ambition to transform his town into a magnificent place like Seru Serem. Renowned for its spiritual and religious significance as well as its unique architectural beauty. He created many unique architectural styles, aiming to build a sanctuary deeply imbued with spiritual significance. In the 13th century, followers of the Ken-Chua religion began carving red volcanic rock blocks at this site to construct 13 churches. Among those churches, 4 have been completed, standing separate from the rock mass, with only their foundations still connected to the mother rock. Many oral tales revolve around the construction of this stone church. Among them, there is a story that says humans will take on the task of building the stone church on that day. The angels will help speed up the progress, even working overnight. Saint Job is the overseer of those angels' duties. Perhaps that is precisely why the construction of La Libera was completed at an astonishing speed, in just about 23 years. This church is also known by another name, St. Job Church. 11. The stone church of Nam Thatch consists of 3 architectural clusters, harmoniously connected into a unified whole through a system of tunnels and corridors. The sanctuary was dug 7 to 12 meters deep into the mountainside, so the initial construction phase faced many challenges. Designed in the shape of a cross, the window features intricate carvings. The Church of St. Job features a complex drainage and tunnel system. Beneath the earth and within the cliffs, hidden tunnels and mysterious structures still exist. To this day, their origins remain an unanswered question. How could the ancients craft such an intricate structure on a piece of volcanic rock as hard as steel? Beside the ancient temple, grand and imposing, lie countless unsolved mysteries shrouded in enigma. The Temple of Jupiter in Baalbek, Lebanon, is renowned as the largest ancient Roman sanctuary, standing atop a stone platform over 7 meters wide. To this day, the identity of the temple's designer as well as the exact time of its construction remain an unsolved mystery. The temple was likely constructed starting around 16 BCE and was largely completed by approximately 60 CE. However, it took 3 centuries of construction for humans to complete this massive temple complex. Around the years 524 to 525, the building was destroyed. Following this event, Emperor Justinian ordered the removal of the granite columns. When the Crusades, religious wars, broke out, these stones were repurposed to build defensive fortresses. The temple measures 88 by 48 meters and is surrounded by 54 stone columns. The 20-meter-high stone columns, spaced about 2 meters apart, are connected by fixed horizontal beams at the top with a height of 5 meters. Inside the temple are tall statues and cedar wood pillars, erected to support the large roof. Notably, the lion head-shaped gutters are not only aesthetically pleasing but also highly functional in draining water from melting snow. In the early days of spring, the scenery becomes incredibly spectacular as the water cascades down from a height of 25 meters after melting. According to historical records, this temple was built to worship Supita Hyria Paranath, the supreme deity in the ancient Lama belief system and mythology. The temple was built on a 13-meter-high terrace, constructed using 24 blocks of sacred stone. The lightest rock weighs about 300 tons. The rock at the western end measures 19 by 4 by 3 meters and weighs approximately 800 tons. Over the years, the Go Temple now only retains 6 southern columns with sturdy horizontal beams above, its architecture nearly intact in the southern area. The strong northeasterly monsoon winds left the exterior surfaces of the architecture looking ragged and bare. The remaining crossbeams are supported by 6 stone columns weighing up to 60 tons, with one corner column even exceeding 100 tons. The Tiwanaku Archaeological Site is located at an altitude of nearly 3,900 meters above sea level, comprising the ancient city of Tiwanaku and the stone ruins of Pumapunku. Just a few hundred meters away are 2 of Bolivia's most mysterious archaeological sites in the world. This structure not only astonishes the world with its exquisite stone craftsmanship but also unveils glimpses of a long-lost prehistoric civilization. Tiwanaku is best known for the Colossusaya temple complex, enclosed by a rectangular stone wall. This area measures approximately 128.74 meters by 118.26 meters and has only one entrance. In the temple, rectangular stone mortars and intricately carved stone pillars cover the surfaces. The most impressive feature is the wall surrounding Colossusaya, built from massive red sandstone blocks, with some weighing up to 130 tons. To this day, scientists are still puzzled by the question: how did ancient people transport massive stone blocks from quarries located more than 10 kilometers away from Tiwanaku? Thorough studies of the Tiwanaku structures reveal an exceptionally advanced level of engineering skill demonstrated in the construction of its stone architecture. These rectangular stone blocks were cut and shaped with perfectly square edges. The gaps fit tightly together, forming a bond so secure that not even a thin sheet of paper or the tip of a needle could slip through. Just a few hundred meters from the Colossusaya temple complex lies the megalithic site of Pumapunku, the most monumental structure in the area. This is a structure built from massive stone slabs, meticulously fitted together with rounded edges and a surface as smooth as finely polished wood. The stone blocks at Pumapunku weigh up to over 100 tons. Notably, Pumapunku resembles a giant Lego set, most famous for its HAP-shaped stone blocks. The HAP-shaped stone blocks were grooved and paired together, allowing them to interlock in all 3 dimensions with extreme complexity. Construct architectural works sturdy enough to withstand even earthquakes. The grooves carved into the stone slab are perfectly straight, showing uniform depth. Additionally, numerous drill holes were found on the stone slabs, all with identical diameters. The special thing is that all the stone blocks at Pumapunku are made from 2 main types of rock. Granite and diorite are extremely hard, second only to diamond. This makes one think of laser machining technology, a technique that modern humans only began applying in the late 20th century. Experts in the construction field have stated that, considering the complexity and high technical requirements of the project, the pyramids of Achap Bodai are far too simple compared to the intricate architecture of Pumapunku. Gold was also secretly hidden beneath the ancient temple. Recently, workers discovered a sealed metal jar buried about 2.4 meters underground. While clearing a vacant lot to prepare for a garden in the grounds of the Sambik Sukwara temple in Timoraru state. Immediately, they notified the Shrine Management Board, the police force, and the local authorities. When opening the chest, the authorities discovered a total of 505 gold coins, weighing 1,716 grams, primarily consisting of small coins along with one large coin. The police contacted archaeologists, seeing that they appeared very ancient. The history of the temple may reveal some clues about the origin of the jar of gold coins. According to researchers, the Sambik Sukwara temple was built approximately 1,800 years ago, during the reign of the Kora dynasty. The Kora dynasty was not only skilled in trade but also maintained extensive connections with merchants across Southeast Asia and the Indian Ocean region. Perhaps, these 505 gold coins originated from European merchants who once passed through this land. Later, wealthy clans or merchants donated it back to the Sambik Sukwara temple. It is said that the temple received many precious offerings, including silver statues, gold ornaments, and real estate. Because it houses many valuable antiquities, Sambik Sukwara temple is frequently targeted by thieves. In the 14th century, General Urahan once led his troops to loot and destroy this temple. Perhaps the ancients buried the jar of gold coins to protect their wealth from the plundering of thieves. After that, they couldn't retrieve the jar because they forgot the hiding spot or it had been damaged. To date, the ancient jar along with the gold coins has been transferred to the storage facility for further research. Accordingly, experts will determine exactly which historical period and culture they belong to, as well as accurately determining the value of this mysterious treasure. In September 1857, during a violent storm, the SS Central America, also known as the Eads Central America, sank while carrying 15 tons of gold. This incident is considered one of the main causes of the 1857 crisis in the United States. And it was precisely the corner that triggered the first global economic crisis in history. The ship was discovered and salvaged in 1987. During the salvage operation of the ship, 39 insurance companies jointly asserted their ownership rights over the discovered gold and artifacts. In the 19th century, all these companies were legally liable for the ship and were required to compensate for the damages caused. After an unavoidable legal dispute, the salvage team ultimately received 92% of the gold recovered from the ship. This 36 kilograms gold bar was later sold for a record $8 million and once held the title of the highest value circulating gold bar in the world. The ship at Torcha had to wait for such an enormous amount of cargo that it took a full 2 months to load it all aboard. Perhaps that was the reason the ship met with disaster. The ship at Torcha sank off the coast of Florida, USA in 1622. All the gold, silver, bronze, indigo dye for fabric, and countless jewelry and gemstones had sunk to the bottom of the deep sea. The Spanish crew did their utmost to salvage the ship, but the vast ocean proved to be a merciless beast, showing no mercy. That treasure may be bestowed upon its favored one, then the door shall be forever closed, even to those who toiled tirelessly to seek it. Finally, after nearly 17 years of relentless diving and searching, a man named Mel Fisher succeeded in discovering the ship. A Torcha was discovered in July 1985, and to this day, the salvage of treasures from this ship is still ongoing. According to estimates, this entire treasure could be worth up to 10 trillion. This is truly an immense and invaluable hoard. While digging the ground to build a house on the 4.45-hectare plot owned by real estate businessman Narasimha in Fembati village, India, workers discovered a buried jar. In a jar buried about 0.6 meters underground, many gold and silver items were discovered, including 22 gold earrings, 51 golden beads along with other gold items, 26 silver bars, 5 silver necklaces, and other silver utensils. The jar contains not only gold and silver but also rubies. In total, the gold weighs 189,820 grams, and the silver weighs 1,727 grams. According to Indian media, these antiquities were identified as dating back to the Kakatiya period, around the 12th to 14th centuries. Previously, some gangs illegally excavated this village in search of treasure, but all of them failed. Therefore, if the authorities continue excavating other areas of the village, it is highly likely that more valuable ancient artifacts, hidden since distant times, will be discovered. The legendary Golden Mountain in history. The Surya Padmanabhaswamy Temple was built in the 16th century and has been under the management of feudal lords in Kerala every year. However, by the 18th century, Bua Mathandarva, the founder of the ancient Principality of Chivanko, suppressed the warlords and seized control of the temple. Indian historical records note that King Mathandarva made extensive offerings of wealth to the Surya Padmanabhaswamy Temple. Accordingly, his descendants continued to manage the temple until 1949, after which they were compelled to hand over its administration to the government of Kerala. The Indian Supreme Court has ordered an inspection of the vaults and uncovered a massive hoard of gold inside the Sri Padmanabhaswamy Temple. Golden Mountain holds many rare treasures, such as 2 kilograms necklaces, a golden bow, a golden rope, bracelets, and silver antiques. 1 ton of gold leaves, sacks full of diamonds, thousands of pieces of jewelry studded with diamonds and emeralds, 16 kilograms of gold coins minted by the East India Company, along with 18 coins from Napoleon's era. Recently, the value of the golden treasure at the Sri Padmanabhaswamy Temple has been estimated at approximately $20.3 billion, nearly double the previous estimate of $11.2 billion. However, this figure cannot yet be considered accurate because the inventory process is still incomplete. According to estimates by antiquities experts, the total value of the assets discovered in this temple could exceed 100 billion United States dollars. Thanks to its immense wealth, the Sri Padmanabhaswamy Temple has become the richest Hindu temple in India, and perhaps this ancient treasure is the largest ever discovered in history. 1,500-year-old golden dragon treasure. Denmark's Fjell Museum, home to a collection of precious artifacts, was recently discovered by a professional jeweler. Among the excavated artifacts, there is nearly 1 kilogram of dragon-shaped gold objects buried 1,500 years ago. This is considered one of the largest, most valuable, and most magnificent golden treasures ever discovered in Danish history to date. According to the information, these artifacts were buried inside a longhouse by an Iron Age leader. In the 6th century, the leader recruited skilled artisans to this land, then later concealed a massive treasure of gold. Although the exact reason for the buried gold is unknown, researcher Raven believes it was an offering to the gods. According to some experts, this amount of gold was buried during the war for safekeeping. However, Raven dismissed this opinion and argued that the arrangement of the artifacts suggests they were most likely ritual offerings. The large medals are adorned with intricate patterns, along with coins meticulously crafted into jewelry. The traces, evidenced by the large quantity of gold, indicate that Windaret was once a center of power during that period. Because only members of the upper class in society have the means to possess such a valuable treasure. Researchers suggest that a climate crisis in the year 536 AD may have originated from a volcanic eruption. Perhaps this led to the burying of these artifacts. The volcano erupted, blanketing the sky with ash and causing crops to fail, which led to widespread famine. Desperate, the people had no choice but to offer golden jewelry to the gods, pleading for salvation. The Nimrud treasure. This is considered the greatest treasure trove in the Middle East. The Nimrud treasure is located in the city of Nimrud, which was once the capital of the ancient Assyrian kingdom, in what is now northern Iraq. The ancient city of Nimrud was built in the 13th century BC during the reign of King Shalmaneser I and quickly grew into one of the most important urban centers in Mesopotamia. However, this city was completely destroyed in 612 AD during the war between the Assyrian and Babylonian empires. The first person to discover the Nimrud treasure was the British archaeologist Orton Henry Rear. In 1845, he discovered many valuable silver buffalo carvings and statues. In 1950, a British archaeologist discovered an ancient wall buried deep underground, believed to be the ruins of an Assyrian royal palace from antiquity. In 1988, an Iraqi archaeologist named Musayyam Mahmud discovered beneath the palace courtyard an ancient burial complex filled with gold, silver, and jewels. Notably, Mahmud also discovered 3 additional tombs, including that of the Assyrian king Nasser II's queen. Each tomb contains hundreds of gold jewelry pieces. No one knows exactly how much the Nimrod treasure is worth, only that its value is immense. A few years ago, an exhibition planned to take place in Germany had to be cancelled because no insurance company was willing to cover these treasures. American divers have discovered and recovered a massive treasure from the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, belonging to a shipwreck from 400 years ago. The exact value of the treasure has yet to be determined, but according to reports, it consists of 500,000 ancient coins made of gold and silver, along with countless other precious artifacts. The value of the coins and the patterns engraved on them remains a mystery, and to this day, no information has revealed the name of the country that once owned this vast treasure. To date, Odyssey has yet to disclose any information regarding the national identity of the previous owner of this massive treasure. They also kept the value of each coin secret, along with the intricate engravings carved on them. Black Swan. And so, the treasure of the Black Swan concludes our journey of discovery for today. Among the treasures mentioned, which one impresses you the most? Now, it's time to say goodbye and see you all again soon. The world's oldest shipwreck has just been discovered, and the mysteries surrounding it have left humanity in awe. Welcome to the mysterious universe. Oh friend, this vast world always holds so many mysteries. Among them are the mysteries of missing ships, abandoned and then unexpectedly found and salvaged. Always spark curiosity and inspire people to uncover the hidden mysteries behind. Throughout history, hundreds of ancient ships have been discovered, the most remarkable being those vessels laden with precious treasures. Or ships deeply imprinted with historical significance across millennia. Let's explore the mysterious universe and unravel the secrets hidden behind the most ancient ships. The mysterious ghost ship lies deep beneath the Antarctic seabed. The Marchand film, also known as the Endless Ocean, was a Brazilian yacht that sank and then frozen in the small Antarctic Sea of Addy. On April 7, 2012, at a location approximately 1,200 kilometers south of the southern tip of South America. This yacht is owned by the famous journalist and entrepreneur from Bolazan, Zola Rara Makgida. When the four sailors on the boat were filming a documentary off the coast of Antarctica, the vessel suddenly capsized. Strong winds with speeds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour caused the boat to tilt sharply to one side. All four sailors were successfully rescued at the Antarctic base in the Bahia Phi region. However, Marchand Film was unable to salvage the situation. The near-freezing water submerged the ship, then caused it to freeze completely, ultimately shattering the hull into fragments. This phenomenon is called compression force, causing the ship to sink permanently to the ocean floor. The boat, about 9 meters long, had been submerged for nearly a year and was clearly visible from above. But it wasn't until early 2013 that the yacht was found and salvaged. The owner of Zola Rara Makgida returned to this location at an opportune time. He sent divers down to wrap the rope around the ship, then secured both ends of the rope to the buoys on either side. The continuous roar of firecrackers propelled the ship slowly upward. When the ship surfaced, it was towed to shore so researchers could recover the equipment inside. The Marchand Film ship will reuse its machinery and equipment. According to available information, this ship was insured for up to $700,000. However, the ship was broken and severely damaged after lying underwater for more than 10 months, seemingly beyond repair. A 2,005-year-old ship was discovered on the seabed in a sunken ancient city. Recently, archaeologists discovered a 2,200-year-old ancient Egyptian ship in the city of Thonis Heraclean. A once thriving city now lies buried beneath the ocean's depths. The ship sank after hitting massive rocks from the famous Temple of Amun. This is a type of ship equipped with large sails, capable of reaching high speeds with a hull length of up to 25 meters. The ancient boats commonly seen on the Nin River are fairly modest in size. According to a report from the European Institute of Underwater Archaeology, this ship may have sunk during the Great Flood that occurred in the 2nd century BC. Currently, it lies just 5 meters below the temple, surrounded by a layer of clay and other debris. Frank Gordio, president of the European Institute of Underwater Archaeology, stated that discoveries of ancient ships from this period remain very scarce to this day. The recently discovered ship was built using the mortise and tenon method. The wooden pieces, called tenons, will be fitted tightly together, much like putting together a puzzle. Additionally, archaeologists discovered a 2,400-year-old ancient tomb within this sunken city deep beneath the sea. They discovered many intricately carved objects, including one piece that appeared to be elaborately decorated with wave patterns. Additionally, a yellow talisman depicting the god Bit was also discovered. This deity symbolizes fertility and is often carved onto amulets to protect women during childbirth and newborns. The ancient city where the aforementioned creatures were discovered is called Thonis by the Egyptians and Heraklion by the Greeks. Though Nhi Herakirion. According to records, a series of consecutive earthquakes caused this city to gradually sink to the ocean floor around 1,000 years ago. The Colombian Navy has discovered 2 centuries-old shipwrecks off the coast, laden with treasures of gold and silver. Among them, there was a shipwreck identified as dating back to the Spanish colonial period. The remaining period was the Colombian War of Independence around 200 years ago. The Colombian Navy also discovered gold coins, a cannon, and ceramic items. Antiquities researchers estimate that the precious artifacts transported on this ship are worth billions of USD. Currently, Colombian authorities are planning to salvage the shipwreck and related artifacts to bring them ashore for display in museums. At the same time, it is necessary to determine the age and decode the mysteries surrounding these 2 sunken ships. Recently, a storm with 80 km/h winds caused a ship to run aground near the shore of Illinois' largest lake. The ship was built with steel and wood, corroded by the salt in the lake. Experts estimate it dates back to the early 20th century. This ship could be a large cargo vessel, specifically designed to transport goods along a section of the Transcontinental Railway. The truck transports a large load of timber to the nearby road section while also carrying goods from this area back to the mining zone. The management board of Lake Desira reported that a boat approximately 9 to 12 meters long was moving at high speed near the shore of the large salt lake, suspected to belong to a transport fleet. Additionally, experts have uncovered several more incidents of ships being attacked in the US in recent months. Most notably, 2 ancient wooden boats, one of which is over 100 years old, were discovered on a beach in northern Florida. The National Institute of Anthropology and History of Mexico has just revealed some information about the wreck of the sailing ship Manuel Polanco, discovered off the coast of Quintana Roo. Although most of the ship's timber had decayed, the 2.5-meter-long cannon and the anchor remained relatively intact. Additionally, experts also discovered numerous ropes that were likely used to moor boats. The ship most likely sank in the late 18th or early 19th century, and it is highly probable that it collided with the Chinchorro Bang coral reef. Nightmare Coral. Manuel Polanco is the 70th wreck among the many shipwrecks found in this area. It was named after the first person who discovered and reported it to Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History in the 1990s. Polanco is now over 80 years old and has retired. In the 1960s and 1970s, he discovered many shipwrecks. Among them, the most prominent were the 40-gun ship and the Chinchorro sailboat, which specialized in transporting precious timber from Mexico to Europe. The research team believes this could be a British sailing ship, but further analysis is needed before accurately determining its origin. The initial test results indicate that the sailor attempted to drop anchor to prevent the boat from sinking, but was unsuccessful. The 2,000-year-old boat excavated underground. In the city of Porik on the Istrian Peninsula, archaeologists and scientists have discovered a wooden boat dating back 2,005 years. Lace is made using a stitch-by-stitch technique, a method once popular in the northern Adriatic region. This is a boat built using the sewing technique from the 1st century. This technique has existed for a very long time, even before Hitler's era. Notably, in the town of Umap in the Sambracia region, one of the oldest boats of this type was discovered. The Porik boat is one of 3 vessels discovered on land, not through underwater surveys. This is a remarkable discovery because the boat is well preserved with many rare details intact, including the frame, ribs, and keel. The wooden boat is considered the most significant archaeological discovery in this region over the past 3 decades. That boat is 5 meters long, 1.7 meters wide, and equipped with a sail. The boat was buried deep underground, preventing oxygen exposure, and the surrounding layer of mud also played a crucial role in preserving it. According to available information, Porik was once an ancient settlement. Previous studies depicted this region in the past as having low-lying terrain and a coastline that receded further inland than it does today. The legendary ship Bom Jesus. The ship Bom Jesus, a Portuguese merchant vessel, departed from Lisbon on March 7, 1533, and subsequently vanished without a trace. Its fate remained a mystery until 2008, when its remains were discovered in the Namib Desert. Thanks to this African nation's coastal diamond mining operations, when it was engulfed in a fierce storm. It is on its way to India, laden with treasures such as gold bars, gold coins, and red copper. Approximately 2,000 dragon-shaped gold coins and tens of thousands of bundles of copper ingots were found on the Bom Jesus ship, most of which remained intact. Archaeologists believe the ship Bom Jesus sank after sailing too close to shore during a storm off the coast of Namibia. The ship hit a rock, causing the hull to tilt and capsize. When the tide recedes, the Bom Jesus church emerges once more amid the white sandy expanse. The condition of the ship when discovered indicates that the weekly patrol had caused an exceptionally severe shipwreck. At the excavation site, archaeologists did not find the two bodies on the ship. Most of the ship's crew either survived by luck or perished at sea. After a week of excavation, archaeologists uncovered an ancient treasure trove filled with gold, including many valuable ancient gold coins. Here are the possible translations based on context. The detailed investigation results revealed that bronze bowls had been discovered. And then, they discovered that those long metal tubes were actually cannons. Notably, archaeologists have discovered a musket dating back at least 500 years. Additionally, they discovered tables, swords, precision tools, scriptures, and even a diving chamber. Silver coins were also discovered. Although very little is known about the history of the Bom Jesus, scientists believe this ship belonged to a class of large naval vessels. More efficient and durable than the previous treasure-hunting ships of the Nguyen dynasty and the Spanish. To make long-distance travel more convenient. Based on the exploration of the ship, archaeologist Nuri from the South African Institute of Maritime Archaeological Research and other scholars believe that the ship is departing from the homeland port of Ridbond, heading toward the West Indian Sea. The Bua Dao Na sailed around the southern tip of Central Africa, a common route for ships of its kind at the time, carrying the same type of cargo. Today, the Bom Jesus is the oldest and most valuable shipwreck ever discovered off the coast of West Africa, in the sub-Saharan region. The area where the ship was discovered is called Speks Soviet, also known as the Forbidden Land, a name tied to hundreds of German explorers who risked their lives venturing there in search of diamonds. This shipwreck area remains strictly protected with a tight security system, while also limiting the number of visitors allowed to enter. The mysterious tunnel beneath the pyramid has revealed secrets about the Maya's serpent deity. Around the early 16th century, Spanish invading soldiers were the first to discover the Kukulkan Temple in the Chichen Itza ruins of Mexico. That is a pyramid belonging to the ancient Maya, holding mysteries that remain unsolved to this day. Recently, a new mystery was uncovered at the Kukulkan monument site. Experts have discovered a secret tunnel inside the pyramid, believed to lead to an underground river, also known as a cenote. The place where the Mio people perform human sacrificial rituals. With this new discovery, archaeologists believe the mystery of the Maya people's beliefs will gradually be unveiled. They only know of this underground water stall but have never once set foot here. Specifically, the expert team from the Great Mayan Aquifer Project, led by archaeologist Kura Moanda, applied the most modern filming technology. They use a type of ground radar, emitting electromagnetic signals that penetrate the rock layers and unique architectural structures inside the pyramid. Then, they mapped out the entire Kukulkan area, dividing it based on the feedback signals. They discovered a smaller passage called Oshuari, but the tunnel is now sealed off. It is known that Kukulkan was built between the years 900 and 1100, meaning this structure has a history of over 1,000 years. Kukulkan was born and raised in caves, and each time he emerges, he brings with him a vicious whirlwind. In 2015, scientists discovered a massive sinkhole hidden deep beneath the temple. At that time, they feared that this pit would bring up water due to an underground river flowing beneath it. According to researchers, Chanote Cave may connect to other sinkholes in the northern, western, and eastern areas of the pyramid. The sinkhole lies directly beneath the pyramid, measuring approximately 25 to 35 meters in diameter and up to 20 meters deep. At the end of the 1980s, strange loincloths were discovered in the vast forests of Russia. This strange phenomenon later became a mystery, leaving scientists unable to find a satisfactory explanation. The strange loincloths were discovered at three main locations, including Vyara province and Karuga province in the western region, as well as the Koros skull area in the country's central region. Some sinkholes appear to have existed for hundreds of thousands of years, while others suddenly form overnight. They were deep, gaping pits, perfectly vertical, as if carved by some precise machine. The most famous loincloth that went viral online appeared in a vast forest, inaccessible by car or truck. And it's also impossible to bring any tools to dig deeper underground. There is no trace of the soil being disturbed or dug up from the ground. Strangely enough, another unusually mysterious loincloth also appeared in Karuga, discovered by a shepherd named Fiho Morelkin. While herding cattle in the field, Morelkin wandered within a 5 kilometers radius and suddenly discovered a large pit on the ground, measuring up to 6 meters in diameter. Morelkin was utterly astonished, as this had never happened before, just like the new loincloth that had suddenly appeared the night before. The herd of cattle seemed to sense some looming danger. They grew visibly frightened, refusing to approach the pit or graze anywhere near the area. When the researchers arrived to survey the site, local residents said this loincloth had suddenly appeared overnight. There are no traces of digging machinery around the area, nor any signs of soil or rocks being transported in or out of the pit. The hole wasn't perfectly round but slightly flattened, more like an oval shape. The inner walls were quite smooth, about 4.5 meters deep, with a small pool of stagnant water at the bottom. According to local accounts, several decades ago, a large trench also appeared in this area, stretching about 2 kilometers in length. Long ago, the villagers would lower sacks of grain into the deep pit as relief aid. During the Soviet era, people threw both tree branches and rocks into it, but still couldn't fill the hole. However, when the researchers came to inspect, they could no longer find that loincloth because the trees and bushes had completely covered the ground. Some believe that because Karuga is situated on limestone terrain, groundwater may erode and form underground caves beneath the surface. However, this still doesn't explain the appearance of those strange holes. And why are the edges so smooth and perfectly straight? Various theories have been proposed to explain this mysterious phenomenon. Some say it's the work of nature. Some people firmly assert that they were dug up from deep within the earth by some mysterious group. Some even went as far as associating it with aliens, claiming that the loincloth was proof they had stolen our human dreams. However, all of these hypotheses remain unverified speculations without clear scientific validation. The truth behind those strange loincloths remains a mystery, beyond the limited understanding of humankind. In the Rocky Mountains of Gongshan in Sichuan, China, there lies a peculiar cemetery perched precariously on steep cliffs, where wooden coffins hang suspended in midair, secured only by 2 or 3 wooden poles. These graves are believed to have been created by the Bo people, an ethnic group that vanished around 400 years ago. Each coffin was hollowed out from a single tree trunk. According to Chinese researchers, the oldest tomb among these dates back 3,000 years, while the most recent one has existed for 400 years. To this day, no one truly understands why the Bo people buried their dead in this manner. But researchers believe this may be the way the living wanted their deceased loved ones to be closest to the gods. It is believed that hanging coffins on cliffsides not only protects the deceased's remains from animal disturbance but also grants their souls eternal blessings in the afterlife. The misty city of 10 towers appears beneath the ancient castle. Beneath the ancient foundations of the old Sachovan castle in Giza province, Bakir in southeastern Turkey. Scientists have discovered an incredibly astonishing settlement. It is a multi-level underground city, spanning an area of up to 10 million square meters and capable of accommodating thousands of people. The excavation also uncovered traces of the ancient castle's walls and watchtowers. Beneath the castle lies a hidden city of mystery, with an ancient church and a water canal stretching for miles. How strange, archaeologists have unearthed a seal from the Ossetian era, carved on a stone block dating back up to 3,000 years. Shimachi Ancient Castle, also known as Shimachi Fort, is a historical relic with a rich and diverse heritage. Originally, this castle was built as a border outpost of the Roman Empire in the 3rd century AD. This castle was inherited, refined, and renovated over many centuries, primarily constructed and expanded from the 3rd to the 5th century. Today, the castle is only in ruins, yet it still attracts hundreds of thousands of visitors each year, even though the central reception area remains unfinished. The legend recounts that during the time of peace, around 1,500 people, including soldiers and civilians, once lived within the castle walls. However, during periods of conflict, the population within the citadel sometimes reached up to 10,000 people, including those seeking refuge. Perhaps this was the ancient origin of the mysterious city hidden deep underground, so exquisitely crafted. About 6 residential areas were discovered during excavations around the castle area, located just inside the fortress walls. Archaeologists estimate there are about 100 similar settlements buried deep underground. According to the plan, the excavation will continue to clarify this unique settlement pattern. The revealed structures, including administrative buildings and gas storage facilities, left people utterly astonished. Recently, archaeologists reported discovering jade discs in several ancient tombs dating back thousands of years. However, the function and crafting methods of these artifacts remain a mystery. In ancient China, dating back to at least 5000 BC, large stone discs were often placed on the bodies of nobility. Their original function remains a mystery to scientists, much like other artifacts, as they were crafted from jade, an extremely hard and durable stone. Petrified wood is a rare gemstone with high hardness, formed from the combination of various silicate minerals. Once used as flower vases, jewelry, and various other decorative items. This type of stone is usually colorless, but if it contains impurities such as chromium, it will have a light green hue. Jade consists of 2 main types, jadeite and nephrite. With its naturally high hardness, petrified wood is an extremely difficult material to work with. Therefore, researchers still cannot explain why Neolithic Chinese people chose this type of stone. This artifact was found in numerous tombs of the nobility from the Hong Sun culture, dating back to between 3800 and 2700 BCE. Until the Liangzhu culture around 3000–2000 BCE. Jade was placed on prominent parts of the deceased's body, such as the forehead, chest, and soles of the feet. According to one hypothesis, the jade disc has the ability to guide the souls of the departed to the heavenly realm. Another hypothesis suggests that ancient people believed jade could protect the body from decay. However, some scholars argue that this jade disc symbolizes the sun or the image of a wheel. Reflects the ceaseless cycle between life and death. Through the jade disc, we can discern the distinctive features of the people belonging to the Liangzhu culture. They can demonstrate their understanding of life's endless journey through countless different stages. The dried-up Ilford River has turned into a treasure trove filled with ancient stones. As a result, many discoveries from the land of Ko can have gradually been unveiled. However, a recently surfaced photo, captured and shared on social media, has left many people curious, even bewildered. The photo captures 4 archaeologists struggling to pull up a mysterious object they had just discovered at the bottom of the Ilford River. What they were struggling to drag along was wrapped in a mysterious white shell. It might be the remnants of an ancient civilization, a crumbled corner of a temple, a massive carved stone slab, or just a small fragment of forgotten history. Archaeologists still cannot provide an answer about the nature of that mysterious object. But in truth, it's an utterly captivating mystery waiting to be explored. What do you think the mysterious object inside might be? Goodbye for now, see you again soon. 6 unprecedented discoveries in history found in the desert that shocked all of humanity. Welcome to the mysterious universe. Dear friend, amidst the barren and desolate deserts always lie countless fascinating mysteries, so much so that few could ever imagine. The desert holds countless mysteries, from enigmatic lakes and giant indigenous carvings to towering skyscrapers and even extremely dangerous plant species. Or mysterious structures that defy explanation. All are incredibly impressive and astonishing. Everything will be revealed in today's video. The photo captures a giant aboriginal figure in the Australian desert. Recently, NASA released satellite images of a massive indigenous drawing in the southern Australian desert. The painting of the indigenous Marie is colossal in size, stretching 3.5 kilometers from head to toe. In the photo, the indigenous woman Marie is holding a thin piece of wood, likely a baron used for printmaking. The photo was taken near the town of Marie, so it was named the Marie Native. The cities of Andorra are approximately 589 kilometers away from Australia. The drawing was first discovered in 1998 when a pilot happened to fly by. Over time, the drawings gradually faded. Satellite images from LENSAR in 2013 showed they were only faintly visible, according to NASA's report. The restoration project was carried out over 5 days to preserve the drawing, its texture, and related information, thereby reconstructing the giant indigenous figure. Additionally, the workers planted trees along the trenches, hoping they could thrive in this barren land. This means that in the future, the Marie natives may turn green. Since their first appearance in 1998, researchers have been trying to decipher the mysterious drawings of the Marie Aborigines. When discovered, the Aboriginal Marie drawing was made up of grooves 30 centimeters deep and up to 35 meters wide. Investigators concluded that these drawings could have been made using a bulldozer and likely took several weeks to complete. However, no one saw or heard anything beforehand. The cluster of drawings is located in a place with only a single path leading in, yet no footprints or wheel tracks were found on the ground there. In September 1999, Australian authorities discovered a small plaque near the nose section of the Aboriginal Marie painting. This is an American flag with the Olympic ring symbol printed on it. Here is a quote from Finraysson's work *Shred Center. Additionally, in a small pit, several other peculiar artifacts were discovered, including a tiny box containing a small American flag and a note mentioning Borden Daphnian, a religious group near the Texas Bridge in the U.S. This sect was attacked in 1993, resulting in the deaths of leader David Koresh and 82 followers. An Australian businessman named Dick Smith has promised a $5,000 reward to anyone who can solve this mysterious code. However, to this day, no one has been able to determine who the author of those giant drawings is, and this remains a great mystery to humanity. Here are the natural English translations based on your notes. The tens of thousands-year-old rock paintings in the Kobe Mungo Desert have led to the image of a strange creature, resembling a camel but of a much more colossal size. That is the giant camel Kemerit Kanoboroshi, standing up to 3 meters tall and weighing around 1 ton. Their colossal size could strike fear into modern humans. And Mungo is the place that hides the mystery of their disappearance 27,000 years ago. This giant monster once coexisted with 2 ancient human tribes that inhabited this harsh land, the Nyen Dotho and the Nyani Sovan. Both of these species belong to the genus Homo asterisk, like our modern humans Homo sapiens asterisk, and are renowned as highly skilled hunters. According to reports, the research team led by Dr. John W. Ocean from the University of Arizona, Tucson, USA, has uncovered crucial clues from prehistoric cave paintings in the Mungo region. The passage describes a strange camel-like creature with 2 massive, unusually shaped humps. In some paintings, it also depicts tiny humans struggling to fight against this monster. They searched for and analyzed 5 footprints along with the foot of Kamarut Koroboraji, collected at Sasan Ogui Cave in Mongolia in 2021. In addition, there are dholes, wild hyenas, Mongolian hyenas, rhinoceroses, horses, wildfires, and wild sheep. The analysis reveals that these were large but rather clumsy creatures, inhabiting diverse environments from grasslands and mountainous regions to lowland areas, not confined solely to deserts like their smaller modern relatives, the Bactrian camels. The likely cause of this species' extinction was its poor adaptability to the desert biome and landscape, along with severe climate changes 27,000 years ago. At the same time, human hunting activities may have accelerated the extinction of the giant camel. The reason is that no evidence has been found suggesting the Nyen Dito or Dionysia people ever domesticated them, but traces proving they hunted and consumed these animals have been discovered. However, since these 2 species went extinct around 30,000 to 40,000 years ago, it's possible that the giant camel Camelops hesternus survived a little longer. But in the end, nature concluded its mission by wiping out the last remaining individuals. Amidst the vast, barren desert, a mysterious lake suddenly appeared, holding countless unsolved secrets. The lake spans approximately 1 hectare and reaches depths of up to 18 meters, nestled within the desert roundabout of Kho-Ken in Tunisia's Ghatsa region. Its existence is as peculiar as the mysteries surrounding the sudden sinkholes that appear in Siberia. The exact cause of how this lake was formed remains unclear to this day. This lake is believed to have formed a few months ago, possibly due to minor earthquakes affecting natural underground water sources, causing water to rise to the surface. However, the aquifer beneath this area remains unexplored. According to The Independent, locals have been flocking to this lake for the past month. They consider this an ideal stop to rest and escape the sweltering heat when outdoor temperatures reach around 40 degrees Celsius. Every day, around 600 people come to the lake to swim, dive underwater, or paddle boats. However, local authorities warn that the lake water is gradually shifting from green to dark blue and showing signs of algae. This suggests it may contain carcinogens. Particularly, according to some experts, the lake water may be contaminated with radiation due to the impact from a nearby phosphate mine. Archaeologists recently stumbled upon mysterious, ghost-like footprints, printed on the sand near the Hiu Air Force Base area in the Graudreg Desert. Italy and the US share a history of at least 10,000 years, when the area was still a vast wetland. These ancient carvings have captured the special attention of the scientific community due to an exceptionally unique feature. They only appear after the rain and gradually fade away as the ground dries under the sunlight. Initially, the research team only discovered a few footprints, but after scanning the entire surrounding area with ground-penetrating radar, the research team discovered at least 88 scattered footprints, including those of both adults and children. It is known that the village of Graudreg was once covered by a vast saltwater lake, similar to the largest lake of the same name in this hemisphere. However, over time, the lake gradually dried up due to the effects of climate change that Earth experienced during the Ice Age. During this period, humans lived around the lake, and it was also a favorable time for them to leave their footprints on the ground. Archaeologist Darren Duck, the research team leader, stated that ancient people appeared to have walked extensively across the frozen waters in this area, and swiftly erased their footprints, just as the ocean waves wash away traces in the sand. However, the footprint did not completely vanish but instead left a thin layer of mud beneath. Beneath the layer of sand lies a layer of mud, preserving traces like ink stains on paper. To explain the phenomenon of ghostly footprints that mysteriously appear every time it rains, Duck observed that when raindrops fall, the water quickly seeps deep into the underlying sediment layers. The ground then returned to its natural color as before, and the footprints pressed into the dark mud will stand out vividly, contrasting sharply against the surrounding fine white sand. Using the radiocarbon dating method, researchers hope that the remaining small fragments of organic matter in the sediment layer can be analyzed to uncover previously unknown characteristics of ancient humans. Accordingly, this new discovery could also be an ancient diary. The passage fully documents the process of human settlement in the area, thereby providing particularly significant value to the field of archaeology. A strange geological structure called the Eye of the Sahara. The passage has captured the attention of scientists as well as enthusiasts eager to explore novel discoveries. This structure is a prominent circular shape in the Sahara Desert, located in the central western region of Mauritania, near the Kuwait area. Eye of the Sahara. This structure was formed from the sedimentation of an ancient lake, then destroyed by a series of geological phenomena such as faulting and erosion. The first people to discover this structure were NASA astronauts. In the space flights of the 1960s and 1970s, they captured images of this structure from outer space and brought them back to Earth. The result has captured the attention of both the scientific community and the tourism industry. At that time, countless hypotheses were proposed to explain the origin of this exquisitely beautiful structure. Some scientists believe the Eye of the Sahara may have formed from volcanic sediment eruptions or an asteroid impact millions of years ago. Others believe this is the remnant of the legendary lost continent of Atlantis, which vanished thousands of years ago. However, to this day, there is still no precise answer regarding the origin of this strange structure. Eye of the Sahara. This place attracts visitors with the majestic beauty of the Sahara Desert and its captivating historical and cultural stories, inviting everyone to explore and experience. However, protecting this structure is also extremely important. The exploitation of natural resources and mining activities are among the causes leading to concerning damage to this geological structure. Therefore, scientists, governments, and local communities are working together to preserve and maintain its natural state, so that future generations have the opportunity to explore and understand this more deeply. Located on a hill in the arid region of the Arabian Desert, about 40 kilometers from Manama, Bahrain's largest city. The Tree of Life is one of the most famous ancient trees in the Middle East, standing up to 10 meters tall. This ancient tree has a lush canopy and is estimated to be over 400 years old. Tree of Life. Living in a vast desert region with nothing but sand, very few plant species can survive. Barren is renowned as a perpetually arid land, where rain is a rare occurrence. This very fact has given rise to numerous theories attempting to explain the mysterious presence of the Tree of Life here. The most common drilling point indicates that the tree can access groundwater thanks to its root system penetrating up to 50 meters deep into the ground. But some people think that the tree absorbs moisture from the sand. Additionally, some followers of the indigenous religion also believe that this tree is protected by the god Enki. This deity is a water god in the ancient Babylonian and Sumerian religions. Christian believers hold that the location where the tree grows lies within the garden once known as the Garden of Eden mentioned in the Bible. There lies a mysterious body of water hidden deep within the earth. However, in 1990, researchers conducted soil analysis and determined the age using tree ring dating, which revealed that this Tree of Life was intentionally planted in 1582. This perspective was reinforced in 2010 when archaeologists unearthed pottery along with various other artifacts. This tree is approximately 500 years old and was prominently featured in the 1991 film, especially in scenes shot around this area. Called Yal Tori, the Tree of Life was mentioned by lead actor Steve Martin as one of the most mysterious places on the planet. Today, this ancient tree has become a famous local attraction, drawing around 50,000 visitors each year to admire it. A mysterious audio recording captured at a depth of 10,000 meters in the Mariana Trench. For humans, the Mariana Trench is not only dark in the literal sense but also conceals many terrifying mysteries in the figurative sense. That place is also known as Hell on Earth. The advanced exploration devices have gathered significant data, proving the existence of life at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean. Especially the emergence of a mysterious sound, sometimes carrying a hint of eeriness, echoing from the Mariana Trench. After the recording was released, many UFO enthusiasts still insisted that it was the sound of extraterrestrial activity, hidden in Earth's harsh environment. Many opinions also suggest that the exploration team misheard those sounds, due to human underwater exploitation activities and natural seismic phenomena. However, despite undergoing multiple thorough analyses and screenings, the origin of these mysterious sounds remains undetermined. If this sound truly originates from the depths of the Mariana Trench, we have every reason to believe in the existence of giant prehistoric creatures lurking deep in the ocean. A place where even viruses or single-celled organisms can be seen with the naked eye. A piece of plastic waste was found at the deepest point of the ocean floor. For over a century, explorers and scientists have been utterly amazed before the wonders hidden deep within the endless ocean trenches of our world. From tiny creatures to giant animals. However, a study has shown that not all discoveries are that amazing. Scientists from the Japan Agency for Marine Earth Science and Technology. Recently, we analyzed a pulse dataset focused on deep-sea photography and discovered that thousands of artificial fragments are sinking deep into the ocean floor. But perhaps the most alarming discovery was the deepest piece of plastic waste ever recorded. A single-use plastic bag was found at a depth of 36,000 feet, nearly 7 miles, in the Mariana Trench. Their discovery is proof that even the deepest, most remote reaches of the ocean are not spared from the disaster of plastic pollution. Scientists discovered this after analyzing a series of photos and videos recorded during over 5,000 observations spanning 30 years. A total of 3,425 pieces of plastic waste were detected in the ocean. Of this, 33% is large-sized plastic waste, primarily single-use products, such as handbags, straws, utensils, and coffee cup lids. Particularly, the statistics grow even more grim as we delve deeper into the analysis, with plastic waste becoming increasingly prevalent at depths below 3.7 miles. Researchers say plastic persists in the deep sea, where there is no UV light and minimal disturbance. It can exist there for hundreds, even thousands of years without decomposing. Therefore, if the accumulation of plastic fragments continues to increase, the ocean floor will undoubtedly become increasingly polluted, and threatens the lives of thousands of people living and surviving there. To improve the situation, the most effective measure we can take is to reduce plastic use. When we use less plastic, the amount of plastic produced also decreases, meaning less plastic waste has the chance to flow into our vast oceans. In June 2001, the professional salvage team Oceanic accidentally discovered an incredibly strange mystery. While hunting for treasure in the waters of Banthitch, thanks to the sonar device, they discovered a massive disk lying deep on the ocean floor, with a diameter of about 60 meters and a height of roughly 4 meters. The plate looked truly bizarre, not like a sunken ship, nor an airplane, and certainly not resembling any form of coral. Its curves are so soft and perfect that they seem almost unreal. Some people remarked that this disk bears an uncanny resemblance to the spacecraft in the movie Star Wars. This discovery thrilled the rescue team, and they immediately shared the news on social media. The moment the news was announced, it immediately drew widespread attention from the media and the public. Many people believe this giant disk is a flying saucer, and if true, it would be one of the greatest discoveries in human history. Accordingly, the Oceanic rescue team immediately entered the water to investigate and clarify the situation. However, since the environment there is quite complex, it would be more dangerous to let team members have direct contact. Therefore, they decided to send a scout ship ahead to survey the situation. As the submarine approached the target, suddenly all onboard systems and equipment shut down. The team members immediately activated the emergency response procedure and steered the boat away from the dangerous waters. When the train had moved 200 meters, all equipment returned to normal operation. They conducted multiple checks, and the results remained consistently stable. This passage indicates that within a 200-meter radius of the disk, there may exist unidentified substances capable of interfering with signals and affecting nearby electronic devices. Clearly, this disk could not have formed naturally and is most likely a man-made product. To uncover the truth, Team X selected an experienced diver and had him dive down alone to verify. To ensure the stable operation of onboard equipment, they could only anchor the boat about 200 meters from the shore. At the bottom of the sea, the light is so faint that you can't even see your finger in front of your face. The skilled craftsman could only rely on the overhead light to slowly approach the enormous disk. The skilled craftsman, with years of experience, approached the massive disk and immediately took out his tools, intending to break off a small piece to take back for study. However, after just a few hammer strikes, the headlight suddenly flickered out, and the gas cylinder stopped supplying air as well. At that moment, the diver felt extremely terrified and quickly swam back toward the boat. I tried to contact the others who were on the train, but part of the communication equipment was also damaged. The people on the ship couldn't hear his words clearly, but they guessed something bad had happened. Therefore, the crew members quickly secured the diver's safety line and pulled him up safely. After a brief silence, the group members gradually began discussing whether they should return home or not. Some people are dissatisfied with returning empty-handed and want to take a reckless chance to try their luck once more. After a lively discussion, the diver decided to take the risk once more to explore the mysteries still hidden deep beneath the ocean floor. So he dove back into the sea, sought out the Tik Len Jia tree, and with all his might, shattered a rock from the massive resin block. The stone was carefully transported to the laboratory for testing and analysis. The results left everyone utterly astonished. The scientists in the lab discovered that these stones contain high levels of metallic elements such as titanium, iron, and manganese. Even more astonishing is how uniquely and intricately these elements are combined. By analyzing its structural components, scientists have determined that this object had been lying deep on the ocean floor for 140,000 years. Immediately, they discovered yet another new thing. When examining numerous sonar photos taken at that time, they discovered a long streak behind the mysterious flying saucer. And when this trail ends, a new one follows, stretching out from a different angle. Following the direction of the wind, they found the second disc, about 200 meters from the first one. The rescue team members speculated that this might be a UFO that had skidded and split in half, then drifted in two different directions, leaving two long trails on the ground. This guess is very likely correct, as a Swedish pilot once witnessed a giant circular flying object. The aircraft is hovering mid-air while performing a mission over the Baltic Sea. As the aircraft prepared to fly over for inspection, the unidentified object suddenly increased its altitude from 1 kilometer to 10,000 meters above sea level. I've never seen anything soar so high, but just as I almost touched it, the object vanished into thin air. The Swedish pilot later sketched the UFO he had witnessed. Surprisingly, the UFO you drew looks almost identical to the giant disc-shaped object that the Ocean X expedition once captured. This strange coincidence further convinced the diving team that they had discovered a mysterious historical structure lying deep beneath the ocean floor. Due to a lack of manpower and funding, Ocean X requested assistance from the Swedish military to salvage the disc but was refused. But it seems they remained determined not to give up, continuing to dive deep into the ocean's depths for their research work. However, the Baltic Sea's unique geographical location makes it an extremely treacherous area. Due to prolonged rough seas and strong winds, the salvage operation for this disc has not been possible yet. No one has yet determined what this disc actually is. This could be a relic or inscription left behind by an ancient extraterrestrial civilization. No matter what the truth may be, this exploration remains incredibly precious and meaningful. Not only does it help us deeply contemplate the past and future of humanity, but also guides us to delve deeper into the mysteries of the universe and science. While exploring life at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, researchers discovered something strange: single-celled organisms thriving in this extreme depth. This is a giant virus, even larger than bacteria, and it's called Mimopherus. Mimivirus was previously often mistaken for bacteria due to their unusually large size. Sometimes they can reach diameters of up to 700 nanometers, even visible to the naked eye. Not only that, but Mimopherus also possesses an extremely complex genome with over 1.2 million base pairs. This number far exceeds any virus ever discovered before. Some scientists believe that Mimopherus may have undergone reverse evolution, transitioning from a bacterial form back into a virus. But the reason they retain reproductive function in the alternating code system remains an enduring mystery. The COVID-19 outbreak has heightened global concerns about the safety of virus collection and research activities in the wild. However, scientists assert that the most effective way for humanity to protect itself against potential pandemics is to master knowledge about unstudied virus strains. All living organisms on Earth originated and evolved from life at the bottom of the ocean. Therefore, studying non-bacterial single-celled organisms in the Mariana Trench is of utmost importance. May bring us closer to the opportunity of uncovering the origins of humankind. Exploring the Mariana Trench and the vast expanses of the ocean has helped humanity realize the extraordinary limits life can reach. This also leads to countless diverse theories and speculations about what is happening deep beneath the ocean floor. Could there exist an entirely different world deep within this earthly hell? Could there be prehistoric giant creatures still hiding in places beyond human reach? What do you think about the findings above? Goodbye for now, see you again soon.